Here at home, the first female governor of New York is calling for a dramatic culture shift in politics after her predecessor, Andrew Cuomo, left office in disgrace. Kathy Hochul was sworn in yesterday following Cuomo's resignation amid allegations of sexual harassment, which he denies, and an impeachment probe by state lawmakers. Hochul had been the state's lieutenant governor. Yesterday, she pledged to focus on ethical governing and said her top priorities include fighting the Delta variant and requiring masks in school. She joins us now. Governor, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on the show.
When you say you're committed to changing the culture in Albany, New York State capital, how do you intend to do that?
Well, first of all, I've ordered that every single state employee has to do an in-person sexual harassment and ethics training. That is not the case now. Everyone's familiar with the dynamic where there's requirements, you have training, and everyone clicks through on their computer and says they've done it. That's not happening. I want to make sure that people have no excuses, that they understand what our policies are. But also, I'm going to lead by example. I'm going to personally make sure that every young woman of all ages who work in this environment, as well as members of the LGBTQ community who often feel they've been preyed upon by others, I want everyone to know that my administration is going to be open, transparent, and an environment where people can just do their jobs without fear of harassment. And anyone who crosses the line, they're going to have to deal with me. There's no tolerance for anyone who abuses their positions, and that's the message I'm sending, but I'm not just going to talk the talk. I'm going to make sure we walk the walk, so at the end of my terms, that people will understand there's been a huge change in culture, and it's starting day one.
You've also said you're going to make COVID obviously a top priority, and you said New Yorkers can expect new vaccine requirements. What are you planning?
Well, first of all, parents are very stressed out about school right around the corner. I'm a mom. I can understand the stress levels are off the charts. So we have to, first of all, have mandatory masks, which is something that it's not universally popular, but I think it's an important step toward getting safety in schools. We've also announced a very aggressive testing program available to students and teachers. $585 million dedicated to that, as well as a partnership with Rite Aid. When it comes to vaccinations, what I mentioned before, I have authority to do as governor. I don't have the executive power to mandate vaccinations in schools, but I'll be working closely to come to that conclusion by teaming up with our partners in the education community and our school superintendents and school boards. This has to happen because this has gone on too long. Our children need to be back in school. They need to be back in a normal learning environment because we've lost too much time, particularly for children in Black and brown communities, those who come from impoverished neighborhoods. They already start out with strikes against them, and we cannot let this continue. We need them back in school.
You certainly are setting a new tone, Governor Hochul, and congratulations to you in the governor's office.
Thank you.
There seemed to have been a tsunami of reports of negativity about the toxicity in the governor's office. You worked with Andrew Cuomo for several years. Were you just not aware of what was happening in his office?
Well, I had the title as lieutenant governor. That did not mean we work side by side. In fact, I determined early on that the governor had his own way and I have my way. It's no secret that we are not close for the last 7 years. We actually run separately for governor and lieutenant governor in the primary. So that all being said, everyone knew that. Well, what I've done as lieutenant governor is take the messages and learning from what other people are doing all around the state. I've been to all 62 counties every year, so I spend very little time in the rooms where this whole culture was festering. But I know that there's a lot of good people who want to stay in government. I want to create a different environment and let them know it's a whole new day here in Albany.